Talmor, Shishin Magachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming. And death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors, including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm rewatching Lost. That just literally slipped out. I did not plan for that to happen.
Hello, everybody.
Charlie aside. What was the name of the band? I should know. I just watched it. Drive Shaft. Drive Shaft aside. We are here in the intro to tell you a few things. First of all, an update on the anti-racist work that we've been doing in the buffering space. And most of this update is that we are going to have more of an update the next time we chat. Mac has been in conversation with us because we're changing some of the shapes of things that we were doing at the jump. We are going to have more words on that in an episode or two for you, but Jenny and I signed up for a workshop that's being done by Hollaback in partnership with Asian Americans Advancing Justice, AAJC, and we would like to encourage you to sign up. The training is a bystander intervention training, and they offer these bystander intervention trainings for free, encouragement to donate to their organization, which we have as Buffering the Vampire Slayer. We will be at the Now at Capacity event on May 20th at 5 o'clock Eastern, but they have at least 3 or 4 that are open in May and June, and they continue to add more. So the website is ihollaback.org, IHOLLABACK.org. You can go there, check it out, check out the work they're doing. It's super important. It's super great. And we're going to have more about some community sharing of events that we will be participating in that we would love for you to participate in with us. More on that to come. But now you know.
Yes.
And Jenny, something else I want to talk about really badly is Keanu Reeves and a couple of events that we have coming up. Cool. So you know that Joanna Robinson and I do a special Patreon podcast called Feels Like the First Time. May for Matrix is themed around Keanu Reeves.
Dial May for Matrix, of course.
Yeah, shut up. So we're watching 3 movies in the month of May. May 20th, we are watching Point Break. May 24th, we are watching John Wick at the request of Jenny Owen Youngs. You'll hear her later in this episode request it. And here it is being delivered unto thee, Jenny Owen Young. So I hope to see you there. And May 26th, we're watching The Matrix. The Matrix and Point Break. I'll say this. I've never seen Point Break or John Wick ever before. And The Matrix I saw probably in the theater, but maybe I was making out with a boy. You know what I mean? Who knows what was happening at that point in time. So I don't remember it at all. Anyway, that is open to all of our patrons. Jenny, you and I have a live taping coming up, don't we?
We do! We have a live taping of a very special episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This will be taking place Thursday, June 3rd in the year 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're doing a live taping of As You Were. There's a fan favorite character who is coming back for one last hurrah. My
Drusilla.
friend and yours.
Must be Drusilla.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil who it is for the people who are watching for the first time. Yes.
Tickets are $12. You can get a ticket for $15 or $16. I don't remember what the upper tier is if you're watching with more than one person. BufferingTheVampireSlayer.com/ticketing.
And this is probably going to be our last taping of season 6. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I can't wait to go live on the internet with you and talk about this fan favorite character.
Same.
So patrons, if you're a patron, that means that the night before our live taping on June 2nd, you'll be able to watch as you were live with us. So, learn all about these things at BufferingTheVampireSlayer.com, all of the events that we do. And there are so many are on our calendar. We call it our Jenny calendar.
Yes,
of course. How could we not? Hey, really thrilled about the Sexual Tension Award results.
Step
from
aside.
Palace.
Please remain behind the yellow tape, Kristen. This is my domain, and I must deliver. It's my sacred duty to deliver one girl in all the world.
Okay, well, let me just remind you that everyone is here today to listen to the episode for Dead Things, so you can get to the point and tell them the results.
All right. In fourth place, with 15% of the vote, we have dehydrated pickles.
I'm disappointed for the pickles, to be honest with you.
I think that 15% is an impressive amount of the vote for dehydrated pickles, objectively.
Yeah.
In third place, with 18% of the vote, we have Xander and his little burgers that he just can't keep out of his mouth. In second place, with 22% of the vote, I'm a little bummed about this, but I understand why it happened. We've got Lorraine Ross and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And in first place, a sweet, holy union that the universe intended. 45% of the vote. They've earned it. Congratulations to Chicken and Cow.
Chicken and Cow for the win. Thank you, listenership. That is what we needed from you, and you gave it to us.
Chicken and Cow.
Hey,
Wow.
I have a quick email to share. I also realized that an email that I should have shared was like one of the 40 emails, which was, hey, Jenny, you said that Lorraine Ross, the actress who plays Lorraine Ross, has big Jane Lynch energy. Well, FYI, on the show Psych, this actress and Jane Lynch played sisters. So we
Incredible.
were correct.
So
we
right.
basically are casting director Kristen Russo and casting director Jenny Owen Youngs.
Yes.
Quick email from Mike. Hey, I'm sure so I don't know if you remember, Jenny, but we talked about Giles having a dating site.
Oh, yeah, this is feeling familiar. Yes. Okay, yes.
Well, Mike had a suggestion for the name of that dating website, dating app, if you will, and it is Herringboned. And I think that's a very good suggestion. So thank you, Mike.
Yes.
Pretty good,
okay,
right?
Well, I've got to go build that website right now. Goodbye.
Real quick, before we roll into Dead Things, we have an ancillary episode, which is a conversation between producer Alba and Jess Clark. This is the first time you all will be meeting Jess Clark, but I do not think it will be the last time that you are meeting him. He is the prevention manager at Solace Crisis Treatment Center. That's a rape crisis center in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He's also a consultant for Catharsis Productions out of Chicago, and he's been doing sexual violence prevention for a decade. His work focuses on increasing youth capacity to interrogate systems of oppression, exploring queer/trans masculinities as a site of violence prevention, and supporting organizations in better serving trans communities through policies and best practices. He rules, and the conversation that Jess and Alba had about the things that happen in this episode is phenomenal. We've put it over on Patreon for free. It's just an ancillary place to put it. The link is in the show notes so that you can choose if you want to go deeper into that conversation, because we know some of you will definitely want to do that and some of you may not. So that is why we did things the way that we did. And I think that that's about all that we have to say.
And before we dive in, just a quick content warning. This episode contains discussions of sexual violence and physical violence. So, be warned.
All right, here we go.
and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we're usually watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one by one, spoiler-free, in tandem with Angel on Top. But today, we're just talking about fluffy puppies.
Yeah.
And
Rainbows.
that one rat in the subway that drags a piece of pizza around.
Yeah.
Oh my
Pizza
God.
Rat. Love that guy. Yeah.
Lobsters mating for life and holding claws.
Oh,
cute. Just
Penguins
cute stuff.
warming up their little baby penguin eggs.
Yes.
With their little flubber bellies. Yeah.
I am pathological liar and sweetheart of the pod, Jenny Owen Youngs.
Oh, and I'm Kristen Russo, and I realized last week that the reason that we never get to say in tandem with our arch nemesis Angel on Top is because you say it and you refuse to participate in the feud.
I just don't understand why we have to feud.
Because it's a bit.
Love
It's a fun bit.
Morgan and LaToya. And I would never feud with them.
Oh,
but
boy.
if I must, for the sake of the pod, then consider my gauntlet thrown.
Yes!
My glove.
We got her. She's in.
Flapped.
Yes.
Fine.
Hey,
They are a bunch of jerks.
this week
We rule.
This week, we're reluctantly talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 6, Episode 13, Dead Things. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast to see if we're alive still. Just kidding. Every other week for an original song written by Jenny recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing.
Dead Things was written by Stephen S. DeKnight and directed by James A. Contner. It originally aired on February 5th, 2002.
You're going to lose your mind when you hear what the fucking TV Guide description is for this.
Three dudes just having a good time.
I mean, like-
Get into some hijinks.
I mean, literally. So, according to TV Guide, this is the one where Spike attacks Buffy despite the chip in his head that is supposed to diffuse his violence. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I mean,
By attacks, do they mean
whatever. We'll discuss it. But first of all, what? Then the Slayers framed for murder by nerdy nemesis Andrew, Warren, and Jonathan. That is the complete description of this episode. What the fuck, TV Guide?
Well, in TV Guide's defense,
Oh my God.
Spoilers.
You and your short, thick TV Guide.
No. Well, we have something special. Spoilers. Here's a fact check for our beautiful listenership. Has TV Guide ever printed the word rape in an episode
I mean, they could at least have mentioned the narrative plot of Katrina. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like a pretty big fucking thing to leave out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
I don't know. I wouldn't have expected them to use the word rape in the description of the episode, but I definitely thought that they would. By the way, this is the one where the trio attempts to rape Katrina by using a cerebral dampener, aka a date rape drug in magical form. It's the one where we all want to turn it off. This is
correct.
To date, I don't know how many episodes we're in to the series right now, but like 100 and change. To date, this is the hardest episode that I have had to watch multiple times, and I include the body in that. Because normally, a little behind the curtain, normally my process now is that I watch the episode and I write notes, I handwrite them, and then before Jenny and I sit down to talk, I type them because the like transposing them kind of like helps me get it in my brain a little more, helps me think of a couple deeper things. I didn't do that. I hand wrote my notes, and I was like, and that's the all. Now I need a slice of fucking banana bread and a goddamn coffee, and that's what I'm doing with the time I would normally take to transpose these notes because this episode is really rough. So I tweeted this morning, early morning tweets from me that basically the previously on for this episode is everything is shit. Remember? Do you remember this piece of shit? Do you remember this other piece of shit? Hey, do you remember how life is a piece of shit? And then it's like into the episode. Life is still shit.
Yay. Well, hey, though, don't jump too far ahead because we open on the soothing sounds of desperate crypt sex.
Yes. Passionate moaning is what my closed captioning said. Passionate moaning. Also, I do think the only thing I do think is good to note in the specifics of the Previously On into this passionate moaning is that they made the conscious decision to end the Previously On with Buffy saying, I am disgusted with myself. And then it's a hard cut to passionate moaning where Spike and Buffy are fucking under so many rugs.
Okay. There's simply no reason to get under the carpet.
None.
There's simply no reason.
None. Carpets I have been underneath a carpet. I know what the underside of a carpet, I mean, you know what I mean? Just like fucking, they're rough and scratchy and like, you don't want to be under it.
Yeah. And for what? For warmth?
I think
if you're under it and you're trying to maneuver in any kind of rhythmic,
oh my God,
propulsory
Jesus Christ.
kind of way.
Can I leave?
You would think that the heaviness, and those are not IKEA carpets. Those are hand knotted Persian.
Yeah.
Primitive props aside, I'm probably doing a terrible job. I didn't actually take carpet notes, but they did look like they were made of wool and they were hand knotted. Anyway, that would be an impediment if you were trying to. But you know what? He does like his exercises. He does like his little sex push-ups.
Yeah,
so maybe
I think they just knew.
It's a challenge. Fuck under a rug challenge. Go.
I think they were fucking on top of the rugs, and then they were like, "Oh shit, the camera crew is here. They're gonna start filming that show called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let's get underneath the rugs."
Oops. Yeah.
I also thought there was beautiful, like, as much as they were like fucking this crypt down, Spike took the time to light several candles, placing them atop coffins, atop tables. They are scattered about the crypt, so at least there's still time for that. I also wrote down a joke. It's like 10,000 rugs when all you need is therapy. Cool.
True.
Great. Spike.
Looks like I'm not the only one staying up by the light of a candle, writing in my little leather-bound book all my little jokes.
So they're post-sex here and underneath carpets, and they're having a conversation.
An interior design conversation.
Yeah, this is great. This is great content for 1080p HGTV.
Yes.
Spike says he ate a decorator once, which is
only once.
Yeah, well, that he knows of anyway.
Yeah.
I request that Buffy show me her New Kids on the Block poster because I haven't seen it. Have not seen it. Sounds like a lie.
Not found.
I had 2 New Kids on the Block posters, Jenny. Do you know who they were? They were both of individual kids on the block.
Okay, I'm going to guess that they were of Jordan Knight and Donnie Wahlberg.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. I think you knew that already somewhere in your brain.
But also, if it wasn't one of them, like those 2 and Joey were the sort of like...
Yeah, the heartthrobs.
Most people's favorites.
But you loved Jonathan.
The gay one, yes.
Listen, we could probably go down a New Kids on the Block rabbit hole here, but we won't. The point is, these 2 are having a conversation, and Spike makes the mistake of calling it out. Man, if you just let it happen, you probably would have kept talking.
Dude, yeah, just be cool for once in your fucking unlife, Spike. You just can't. You're your own worst enemy.
Buffy
Sir.
says Spike got the job done himself, which I didn't. I didn't like it. It's fine. I don't mean to yuck it if you're yumming it, but I didn't like it myself.
I don't want to hear them talk about the sex. I don't want to hear them compliment each other's sexual prowess. I simply no. How do you unsubscribe from your own podcast?
I don't know. I tried
this
all morning.
episode made me ask many times.
I tried all morning.
Included.
It didn't work. I have a lot to say about sex, but I'm going to wait until we're on the balcony of the Bronze. Yeah. But notably, Spike says, "I've never been with such an animal," and Buffy says, "I'm not an animal." And this brings up, which they've been poking this since Spike figured out he could hurt Buffy.
What's wrong with Buffy?
Right. This underlines the I'm not an animal. I'm a human being. I'm fine, even though she also desperately believes that she is not fine. But this is her internal conflict.
And then Spike, no. Spike, don't. Oh no! He asks, "What is this to you? This thing we have?
Honk.
Do you even like me?" Spike, no. Spike, go smoke in the corner.
Yeah.
Go kill something. What are you doing?
He cannot keep his shit together. He just can't keep it together.
Then he holds up some handcuffs, perhaps willed to him by Joyce Summers.
Oh my God, that's complicated in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. And asks if Buffy trusts him.
Yes. And she says, never.
However,
confirming what we've known from the beginning, which is that Buffy definitely is the one handcuffing Spike. Confirmed with visual later in the episode. Over to the new lair, which is what I'm calling this place.
Same nerds, different basement. They're working on something called a cerebral dampener, which, you know, has a pretty, I think, self-explanatory name. Mm-hmm. And their goal is to make any woman they desire their willing sex slave.
Two really contradictory words in that phrase.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, not possible. Not, those words don't go together. So, yeah, this is awful. I think we may as well just, there's so many places to play the patriarchy jingle that, like, let's just fucking get it out of the way.
Just get it out of the way.
Yeah, so go ahead. The patriarchy! To bring up, like, the Peter Frampton vinyl and their fucking nerdy, like, the glasses they need to wear when they fucking charge the cerebral dampener are these, like, red tinted whatever. And through the course of the episode,
wraparounds.
Yeah, and through the course of the episode, like, we'll bring up some more of these points, but, like, their, like, nerdiness and, like, silliness, I feel, is especially highlighted in this episode, which seems really important. And as you heard up in the intro, Alba had an incredible conversation with Jess that is linked here so that if you want to listen to more, you can hear more. But I really think that the way in which their, like, innocence is underlined, I mean, not, you know, they're not innocent at all, but, like, this dichotomy between, like, this horrible fucked up shit that they're doing existing with this, like, oh, let's get our little red glasses and, like, oh, let's fight over a Peter Frampton vinyl is really important. Yeah. It's really important. And we'll talk about it more as we go on, but I just wanted to get it at the jump. That is that's like really the key of the trio, and that's why even though I hate this episode and I hope to never watch it again, it is a really important episode in laying the foundation of these three and their role in this season. So okay, the cerebral dampener is online, by the way, is what they say, because it is the year 2001, and if it's not online, what's the point?
Meanwhile, at the Double Meat Palace, Buffy's trying out new catchphrases. See, she's really getting into the swing of things. Tara shows up and is like, sorry, I'm late.
I can't believe that you didn't say double meat is double sweet.
No, I got you to say it.
Yeah, you did. Is it because I'm like keeping a tally of your 1080p HDs and you know you
I don't know.
A limited?
I don't know.
Well, it worked. You got me to say it, so fuck you.
Buffy notes that time has no meaning at the Double Meat Palace, which seems correct. Mm-hmm. They go into the break room. Kristen, in theory, there are motivational posters everywhere, but what there actually are posters with one animal type and one word. And so according to the Double Meat business model, yes, the avatar of dedication,
mascot of dedication,
is alligators.
Yeah.
The embodiment of productivity is ostriches. Mm-hmm. What?
I talked about this last week. I told you these posters are fucked. You got distracted by Lorraine Ross, but I was all over those posters.
Is anyone even trying?
No. I would like to say for the record that this breakup looks fucking good on Tara. She's looking good. She's looking like she has gotten some rest. She has fucking, you know what I mean? Like, she's doing good. She's taking care of herself, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Which, amen.
Yes.
And huzzah. And so happy for her.
She thinks that, of course she thinks, I mean, it's nuts to me that Buffy would have not assumed that she would have thought this would be about Willow. She
right?
thinks,
Buffy.
Yeah, come on.
Pull your head out of your ass again.
Yeah. So Buffy corrects her and is like, no, this isn't about Willow. Willow's actually doing really good. But she tells Tara that Spike can hurt her. And that it's just her, because Tara panics. Like, oh, no, it's just that his chip doesn't work anymore. She's like, no, the fucking chip is fine. He can only hurt me. And so she asks Tara to look deeper into the spell because, as Tara says, you think it's you. Yeah, she says, I think maybe I came back wrong. Mad Dog 2 to Mad Dog 1. I thought I was Mad Dog 2. Mad Dog 3 to Mad Dog 1. Shut up. Go away.
Boys.
Yo, this restaurant is fucking fancy. Who knew that Sunnydale?
Yeah, what is this hotspot in Sunnydale?
This is like classy. People are drinking wine. This looks like something that would be found on the set of Angel Investigations more than it does look like. Remember that fucking club they used to go to in Angel? It was like
Oh, wasn't that Hell?
Hell? Was that the name of the club? With Kate, like Kate would be there, like sipping her drink at the bar.
There's definitely a club that they go to for at least one episode called Hell, but I don't know if it's the same one as like when we meet Kate at the beginning of the series.
Well, you know what? We can ask our enemies. They'll know.
Yeah, and then we'll give them the satisfaction of us not knowing something. They'll love that.
Anyway, this is a fancy place, and Warren is in there to find... He knows that Katrina goes here, obviously. This is why he's picked this place. And the boys think that they are like looking through the camera and they're going to pick out the girl that they can make into their sex slave.
Ooh,
dude, what the fuck? Just what the fuck?
How?
It's there's plenty, unfortunately, a lot of additional scenes in this episode. So if you think, oh no, why aren't they talking about it more? We're going to talk about it a little, but to be totally honest, like we're going to talk about it as I think loosely as we can and leave some of the heavy lifting to the ancillary episode because it's just a lot. And we want you to be able to come to this space and like know that maybe you won't have to relive this episode beat by beat. So
I would like to file a formal complaint.
Yes.
This episode is so upsetting.
Yes.
For many reasons.
Yes.
One of the reasons
oh,
is...
no. She's going to say it.
There is not just the employment of the word bazoombas, but just before Warren dunks his earpiece in someone's martini, gross, Andrew and Jonathan, I believe, start a bazoombas chant.
Mm-hmm.
And what would normally be very enjoyable for me, a cause for celebration and delight. I can't even enjoy the bazoombas chant because this episode is too upsetting, and therefore I am mad. I am in a feud with this show.
Yeah. Oh, no. Wait. So are we all feuding with the same thing? We've just switched sides?
Yeah. Let's team up with Morgan and LaToya. This season is not fun.
I love this twist for us all. Okay. So Warren sees Katrina at the bar. He takes the fucking headpiece out. He tosses it in the fucking drink. So shorting out the boys in the van. They're cut out of this equation completely. And Katrina, love fucking how Katrina shows up in every moment that she's in this fucking episode. She basically looks at Warren and she's like, no, the only thing fucking wrong was that I ever lowered myself to be with you. Correct?
Katrina does one thing that I don't like in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
And that's that she calls Warren's suit fancy.
Okay, fair.
That is a JCPenney sale rack.
Yeah. That is a shitty suit. That is, and it's too big on him. I think that was probably
it's not fitted.
a conscious choice.
Return that thing.
Yeah, costume department. But yeah, she says, just looking at you makes me sick. And then he says, are you sure about that? And he takes the cerebral dampener out. And she says, I love you, master. And he says,
ew.
I love you too.
Ew.
And that's where we stop talking about this fucking episode. Goodbye. Imagine we just played the fucking song.
Farewell.
Bye. Yeah, so this is really, really fucked up. And we'll just continue to get more fucked up. So why don't we go to a happier topic of conversation, which is, oh my God, what the fuck is this shirt that Buffy Summers is wearing? Oh my God.
What does it say?
It says like brownie camp something. It's like some camp shirt. But the point is, in case you didn't, I understand if you didn't rewatch this episode. And if you didn't, I will point out to you something very important, which is that if you remember the early 2000s, it was a time of deep distress for t-shirts everywhere because they were being cut up and re-sewn together in different formations.
Not in a cool way.
Nope, not in a cool way. Buffy's t-shirt here is off the shoulder, so there's like two little cuffs of green t-shirt around
strong county fair vibes.
Bicep. Yeah. It's really bad. It's really bad. And we're all there. If you were there, you were there. This is true. This is a true thing that happened to t-shirts.
You know.
So
if you lived through it,
yeah.
Woo. Xander's teaching Dawn to dance, which is cute.
It is cute.
People are entendreing without really being aware of it, saying things like, whoa, Buffy, we know you've been pounding the big evil.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, she's been pounding it.
You are looking a little pounded, says Anya.
Yeah. Nice.
Dawn's going over to Janice's. She's going to go sleep over.
Dawn, I know that Dawn is like 16 or whatever, traditionally the worst age for any human to be alive. I know I was there one time and I too was terrible. But like, Dawn, you are living in a single income household with your older sister whose sacred duty is to defend the world from vampires, and she also has to work a full-time job to support you and keep you alive. Do you have to be such a little asshole all the time?
Of course she does. Just like most of us fucking were. I mean, are you kidding me?
Okay.
Sorry, but I was an asshole and you were an asshole. So we understand.
Totally.
I mean, I can be upset with Dawn for it, but also and I will say this. Yes, correct. This is correct no matter which way you slice it. But one of Dawn's big narrative chomps in this episode is that she really is upset because she knows that Buffy was happier where she was, so she feels like Buffy doesn't want to be there and Buffy doesn't want her around, and that's like really the motivation,
right?
For
that's the issue,
for this and everything else.
Okay, why is Janice's mom honking? Doesn't Janice canonically live across the street?
And also, lay off, Mrs. Janice. She fucking honks the second time. Like,
yeah, what are you, a teen boy?
Oh, so off Dawn goes.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Before I have to say, oh, no, Buffy decides to go drink a bunch of booze.
Frosty Nectar.
Friends.
I do like that.
Friends.
I would like to call my beer Frosty Nectar from now on.
Yes.
Okay. So
now, oh no. There's another scene. Oh no.
You know what?
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's just fucking. So they've got Katrina at the new lair, and of course they have her in a fucking maid outfit because they're fucking assholes. And
oh my god,
they have her serving them champagne. Which, what did they fucking steal this shit? This looks like some Vouv. Like, where? What? How did they get this fancy bottle of fucking champagne? I don't want to answer, so don't answer me. And this is where we get more of this shit, right? Gentlemen, tastes like crime. And, Andrew is funny. He's funny, right? So he's like, crime tastes funny. And it's funny. You laugh. Well, I didn't laugh now, but like initially you laugh. Like, it's funny and it's really disarming. And that's the point. And I'm not going to like go too hard on this because I think you get what I'm saying. But like the point is that we're laughing at Andrew and Andrew's doing complicit in something that is absolutely horrifically horrible. Horrifically horrible. This whole situation, I don't even want to talk about it, Jenny. The like stuff that Warren says about why he is into Katrina, I can't even. It's bad. It's bad. I don't want to waste any of my breath on it, even though I know that we are podcast hosts. Our job is literally to waste our breath.
Yeah.
And they talk about what they're going to do next. And then Warren, of course, is like, me first. I can't even, I don't know how to even, quickly describe this scene so that I don't have to talk about it, because it's anything that I say is horrific. What I will say is that Katrina comes to. The cerebral dampening starts to wear off. She calls him Warren. And my favorite part of this scene is fucking Warren goes flying out of the door. Like Katrina is a fucking fighter, man. She throws him across the fucking room. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And she also gives this very important fucking speech about how fucked up all of this is, and that this is not a game, that what this is rape. She uses the word rape. And I think that that's really important for a million reasons. And you can listen to at least 500,000 of them in the conversation that Jess and Alba have. But I think that it was possible to do this episode without naming it. And I think it's really important that the word is used and that Katrina is the one who speaks it. That feels very important to me, as much as I hate this and don't ever want to watch it again.
Yeah. And also the fact that somehow everyone in the room who isn't Katrina is like, wait, what? No.
Yeah, well, Warren, I think, knows what the fuck is up. But yeah, Jonathan and Andrew seem absolutely horrified by this.
Also, when it becomes evident that Katrina and Warren used to date, the other boys say, "Oh, she's your ex." That is messed up. Why is that messed up? Yes, exactly. Exactly. As opposed to what they thought the plan was.
Yes. So what happens next is horrible. Horrible on horrible. It's a horrible sandwich. The bread is horrible, and the contents of the sandwich are also horrible. Katrina tries to escape again. She's really giving a good fight. She scratches Warren on the face, and she kicks him, but he hits her and kills her. We're not putting the segment that Jess and Alba recorded together in this episode, but I did want to play just one small snippet of it that has to do with some of the violence that happens here and the complicity of Jonathan and Andrew. So we'll just give you a little bit, and then if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can, and you should, and the link is in the show notes.
If we're thinking about what could have prevented this moment, I think consent education, sexual violence prevention education could not have prevented Warren in this moment from doing this. I think Warren, there's a very small percentage of men who, even given all of the education in the world, Warren would still commit an act of sexual assault. And I think Warren is one of those people. That anger is just so intense, and the anger directed at women especially. I think, and which is awful. I think Andrew and Jonathan, given the right education and the right change in culture around them, could have been the people to stop Warren and said, "Hey, this isn't okay. Well, yeah, the cerebral dampener thing sounds really cool, but hey, we could have used it to rob a bank instead of to sexually assault somebody." Also, the fact that they immediately went to sexual assault with a cerebral dampener is telling. That their ability to have power over someone immediately is connected to power of them sexually.
So, yeah, the point that I would like to give to Warren in this dialogue is that happens right after this, is that Jonathan says, "What did you do?" And Warren says, "We did this. It's on all of us." And Warren is correct. They did all do this. They did all do this, because even if Warren was going to do this, if Jonathan and Andrew were there and were aware and were able to step in and intervene, Katrina would be alive. Katrina wouldn't have even been there, because they would have intervened before that. And that's important. And that didn't happen.
Yeah. Warren certainly doesn't do this for a noble reason, or because he, values shared responsibility.
No.
But
no, he does it because he doesn't want to fucking take the blame. But he is correct in the fact that like they are complicit, and they only become more complicit. They've had so many chances to not be complicit. They had a chance before they ever fucking went to this stupid basement lair, the first one. They had a chance before the cerebral dampener was made. They had a chance in the van to say, actually, ma'am, this is fucked up. They had a chance downstairs. They have had a million billion chances. So they're all complicit. This is fucked. They immediately begin referring to Katrina not as a person, in like very stark contrast to the way the term body is used in The Body.
They have a very uncomfortable conversation about ways in which they can dispose of the body. Jonathan notes that it is too big to teleport.
And he slips. He says she's, and then very, very pointedly corrects himself to it. Too big. Andrew was, thinking about demons that might be able to, whatever. It's just all awful.
Yeah, it's gross.
And Warren is like, two problems, the body and the Slayer, because they're immediately, this is kind of bizarro anyway. Like, why is their first concern the Slayer? They have just killed someone. That is not, I guess there were mystical things involved, but it's a little bizarre to me, I guess, because they've positioned themselves in their minds as like these like mystical crime
as her arch
lords.
nemesis.
Right. But anyway, Warren concocts this idea that we will see played out later in the episode in order to solve all of his problems. I'd like to solve all of his fucking problems, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, with a fist in his face.
Exactly. So, hey, remember another thing besides the atrocities done to t-shirt material in the early 2000s, which is swing dancing? It was like a big thing.
People were all like, cherry poppin' daddies, squirrel nut zippers.
Wow, that was good. I can't believe
there was a Christian swing ska band called the W's that I was briefly into.
Hell yeah. Get it, Jenny.
The opposite of hell, yeah, actually.
Heaven, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're just going for it.
Swing,
swinging.
In case any of you are confused and you're thinking, like, I thought swing originated a lot before the early, it did. It was a resurgence of swing, okay?
Yes.
You had to be
Yes. The hit things become popular. Everything old is new again.
It's true. Look out. It can happen to you.
It will happen to you.
It will.
Listen, Gen Z, one day somebody's going to pop up into your feed and tell you that only stupid old Gen Zers would have middle parts. What a bunch of losers. Ha-ha! Middle parts were really cool when we were in high school. And then what happened?
It's true.
Then what happened to us will happen to you. Anyway.
It's true. She's right. When she's right, she's right. Buffy's choker is next level in this scene. It is like a Jordan Catalano shoelace, but it is 5 million miles long, and it is tied in the front so that you get a little sprigs of leather that are just a little flourish on the choker.
It's cool. It's good. I think it's good.
It's good. It's great. Yeah, I would have definitely been into myself if I wore a choker like this in the early 2000s.
I think Buffy looks great in this scene, and I think Willow has a collection of good outfits for the whole episode. Is that right?
I can't believe I let it slip by. Jenny, Willow is wearing a goddamned blazer. She's wearing a blazer. Oh, yeah. She looks great.
She's ready to go to the library and do some computer research.
Or the lesbian bar. She's ready for whatever life throws her way.
Yeah, correct.
Buffy checks in on Willow, which is a very brief moment, but I think it's just important, because we've seen these two really miss each other so much. And she just says, "How are you doing, Will?" And that's really nice. And Willow answers and says, "It's easier when I'm not alone." Which is also like a really honest answer. It's just like a really, we get like 7 healthy exchanges in the whole season. So I just feel inclined.
You want to celebrate them as they happen.
To point them out when they happen. Okay. We know you've been all tied up, Willow says, when Buffy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I haven't been around."
We know you've been all tied up getting pounded by the big evil.
So, laugh while you can, because then Buffy gets up. Willow goes to dance with Xander and Anya, and Buffy's like, "I'm going to go get another beer." But then she kind of puts her empty cup down and she goes up to the rafters. Nothing good ever happens up there. Has anyone ever gone up there?
They should remove the balcony entirely.
Get rid of it. Buffy goes upstairs and she's this is really beautiful in a horrible way. I think it's really beautiful when she first goes up and she's looking down on them, because it's such a powerful visual representation of how you feel when you are moving through depression.
When you have recently been resurrected.
When you've recently been
by
resurrected.
your friends, plucked out of heaven against your will.
Exactly.
Of course, we've all been there.
But it's just, you really do feel outside of, I'm somebody who has had very, very intense wrestling matches with anxiety. And anxiety is my big bad more than depression is. And, dissociating from myself is like the kind of the peak of panic attacks for me, and really feeling like I am outside and above the everything that I'm seeing. And so I think that I just really, really found this visual to be a beautiful representation of Buffy's mental state right now. So bravo.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere, because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. Did you know that your body starts accumulating senescent cells as early as your 20s? Also called zombie cells, these cells stop producing collagen and hyaluronic acid like they used to, and start secreting an inflammatory substance that makes neighboring cells dysfunctional too. There is an answer for these zombie cells though, and it comes from our friends at OneSkin. OneSkin was founded by an all-woman team of scientists and is the first and only skin longevity company to target cellular senescence, a key hallmark of aging, with their proprietary OS1 peptide. It's scientifically proven to decrease lines and wrinkles, boost hydration, and help with the thinning skin that often comes with age. And for a limited time, you can try OneSkin and get 15% off using our code BUFFERING when you check out at oneskin.co. I've been using OneSkin's OS1 face and eye topicals for months now, and I have seen undeniable results. My skin feels healthier and brighter. I'm a big fan of their products, and I'm happy to recommend them. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. But then
I just looked at Jenny like, can we stop now?
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's not alone. Because here's Spike, and he's all, you try to be with them, but you always end up in the dark with me.
He's very, like, positioned as, like, the devil on her shoulder, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I have a question.
Yes. Is it tiny?
Are they having sex? Are they having actual... Well, not
I think
they're
the only
definition
it's a finger
of sex.
bang. I think it's a good old finger bang.
It's a finger bang. It's not a full Monty.
I think it's a good old fashioned.
Good old fashioned finger bang.
Yeah. So...
Okay. Thank God, because I was really questioning the mechanics.
Yeah, I mean,
I have so little data to work with, but
they've already
it just
had
really
sex
was
through an ankle-length leather skirt, and underneath a heavy carpet. So, you know,
they are both preternaturally strong. So you know,
true.
what do we know about?
It's true.
That.
But before the finger banging, a BFB.
Yes, pre-finger bang.
Spike is standing behind Buffy, and he's like talking, and this is not the first time in the season since they've been having sex that he has like made commentary on the crazy things that she does in bed and how fucked up it is. And like he really drives it home here when he's like, what would your friends think of you if they knew what you did? And he means sexually.
Eek.
And this is
Eek.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable, and it's really not okay because like what the show, because now we're out of the now take it outside of Spike and Buffy, because now we're in the writer's room, and like really what is being chosen here is this connection that some kinds of sex are bad and some kinds of sex are good. And I don't like that. This scene is really uncomfortable. I will say that in reading about this episode, Sarah Michelle Gellar disliked, like has gone on record to say she did not like the way Buffy was treated in this episode. The quote is, I had trouble with the one where Buffy had sex with Spike. Oh, she says had sex, but what does sex mean, really?
Well, they do fuck at the beginning of the episode. Oh, no, she says
on the balcony.
Sex on the balcony.
Yeah. Yeah, she specifically is talking about this scene on the balcony while watching their friends. I really thought it was out of character, and I didn't like what it stood for. That was the moment that I had the most problems with. And then the writer, Stephen DeKnight, said, I totally understand why that part made Sarah uncomfortable. I wish I could say it was my idea, but it's something that Joss had in the back of his head for a year. It just so happened that it happened in my episode. So... You know, I think this is complicated, right? This is we're in and Morgan and LaToya actually touched on it last week, because we're all in a very particular point in Angel and Buffy, and I think it's just important to point out that what is happening with the trio and Katrina, and what is happening with Spike and Buffy. There's really important conversations to be had there, but we also know a lot more about the mind which some of these storylines came from, and I think that it's just important to remember that connection. But you know, it's I think that like in this conversation and in this podcast, we attempt to hold two things at once. More than two, but we attempt to hold the fact that one of the creators of this show is very problematic, and that problematic brain is part of the creation of this stuff. And also that some of the things that happen in these stories give us really, really, really important ways to talk about fucked up shit. So, you know, just putting it all on the table, if you will. But no one liked this scene. No one liked it.
You know, nemesis of the pod, LaToya Ferguson.
I was like, this could go anywhere.
And Morgan, actually, on their other vampire podcast, The Vampire Diaries, frequently, where they are in the show right now, are often saying, I should be horny right now, but unfortunately, like, the way that we got here,
yes,
precludes me, prevents me from being horny. How dare they take that away from us?
How dare they is correct. I agree with our nemesises.
I should be horny right now.
I mean, honestly, like, no, who doesn't want to just hang out watching two people who really like each other finger bang on a balcony? When
my God. Kristen Russo is actually in the middle of her whole getting her doctorate. She's pursuing a 1080 PhD right now. Crying, screaming from the rooftops to anyone who will listen that she wants to watch two people finger bang. All right.
I'm only at 720. I haven't made it all the way up to 1080 yet. So taking us out of this really fucked up scene, there's probably like a whole fucking paper you could write on this, is Xander making a joke about his jive muscle. He's and it should be funny and cute. It's just that there's all this other complicated shit happening and I'm confused. So Xander's LOL, pulled a jive muscle. It's positioned to be this like very cute, nice, vanilla moment between Xander and Willow.
And I think Willow says something like the funky monkey claims another victim. Then they bump into Tara and there's a lot of sputtering. And Xander says, I'm going to go give Anya a heads up about the monkey situation. And Tara says there's a monkey problem. And Willow says, only if you don't stretch first, which reminds me about how much people in this universe get left in the dark for our enjoyment. Tara has no fucking idea what's going on with the monkey, and she never gets to find out. For us, so we can have a laugh.
What is the line that Oz says to Willow? Isn't it also about monkeys and animal crackers?
Hippos, monkeys. I think he says the monkey has pants and the hippo doesn't have pants, and the hippo's like, my hippo dignity. I think so.
Right? That's interesting. I'm just throwing that out. That one's for you, listeners. Just pick that animal cookie fucking monkey business up. You do with it what you will.
Yeah. Also, if I got them reversed, I apologize. Lately, there's been a rash of people starting to listen to the podcast and lamenting about how many mistakes we make all the time, and they wish they could have been there to correct us in real time. Don't worry, everyone listening at any moment in time. Anything that we have misspoke has been corrected for us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and in our Gmail inbox 100-fold. So you rest easy. No mistake has gone uncorrected.
Yes, we're wrong all the time. That's part of our charm. So Willow says in this conversation that happens post monkey confusion that she's been doing quite well, and she's 32 days sober from magic, and she talks about how she can be at the magic box now, but somebody needs to be with her. Really honest, really just very lovely exchange between these two. She says, I understand if you were checking on me, and Tara is like, no, like I would never, like that is absolutely not what I was doing. So it's a nice exchange between them.
Also, there's this nice thing about, like, Tara saying, like, oh, I was looking for Buffy, and Willow saying, like, she's not around lately, like, we miss her, and Tara saying, like, I'm sure she misses you too, and I'm glad you're doing better. Tara being a good Tara, actually.
Tara, seriously.
Classic Tara, nice stuff vibes.
Yeah. Then we go to the cemetery, and I'm like, why do I have so many feelings? Oh, it's because fucking Gavin Rossdale of Bush is gravelly singing Out of This World is the name of the song.
What record is that on? Do you know?
I looked it up. It's on a record called Golden State that came out in October of 2001. I was a massive Bush fan. I saw them in concert, but I really was only familiar with 16 Stone, which was their first album. There were two others between 16 Stone and Golden State, and then Golden State.
I know, Razor Blades, Suitcase.
Yes.
Oh, subversive. A suitcase. But it's either made of razor blades or full of razor blades or possesses some razor blade essence that is, indescribable. You just, if you know, you know.
Yeah, but so this album though, they basically from 94 to 2001, Bush released 4 albums, and then they didn't release another one for 10 years after this one.
Well, there you go.
Also, some other like factual things that I found out about this. Let's play a little clip of the song because it's quite a good choice, if I do say so myself.
When we die, we go into the arms of those who remember us. We are home now, out of our heads, out of our minds, out of this world, out of this time.
So this album, Golden State, Jenny, it came out in October 2001, and the original cover was actually designed. It had like an airplane on it, and October 2001, if you are doing the math, right? So they pulled it, and the cover is just the text on yellow, and that's the reason why. Which it just, I mean, it's not really relevant necessarily. It just felt relevant when I looked it up, and I was like, wow, what a time. Like, what a time we were in at this moment in general. And, like, just knowing, like, this song was chosen from an album that was impacted by 9/11. It just giving you a deep sea to swim in of thoughts.
I'm looking right now at the image that's on the back of the CD.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a photo of the band. And I'm reminded that there's a guy... We all know that in Bush, there's Gavin Rossdale, and then there's the other 3 guys. And one of them has the unfortunate distinction of being the other guy in the band with hair that's just slightly longer than his ears, but he isn't as hot as Gavin Rossdale.
Gavin Rossdale, definitely like a lesbian root for me. One of the many long-haired, beautiful men that I thought, I am just so straight. I love this man. I want to kiss his face.
I love his long flowing hair and his delicate features.
Well, Jenny, we could wax poetic about Bush and their music for a long time, avoiding where we go next. But unfortunately, our job demands that we move forward.
Whilst Gavin Rossdale sensually croons at us, Buffy is walking through she's walking through the cemetery, and she goes right up to the door of Spike's crypt, and she caresses the surface of the door, and Spike on the inside caresses the door back, and they're all like, I can fucking feel you. I'm gonna fuck you right through this door. Then he throws the door open, walks outside, open shirt flapping in the cemetery breeze, but she is gone.
She is gone.
Buffy
this is kind of reminiscent of the orgasm wall. Now you've brought that up for me with your description. Yeah. This is intense. I couldn't figure out if what was happening was intense, or if the song was intense, or if it just altogether became intense. The lyrics. Did you pay attention to these lyrics? Some of them.
When we die, we go into the arms of the ones that remember us. And then what happens?
We're home now, out of our heads, out of our minds, out of this world, out of this time. Yep. Are you drowning or waving? I just want you to save me. Should we try to get along? What? This is good music choice.
Well done, music supervisor.
A+ music choice. Okay. So just when we're like, oh, that wall is so sexy, I want to smooch Gavin Rossdale, there's a scream in the woods that Buffy kind of asked for when she said, please let me think of anything but this vampire. We hear a scream. It's Katrina, but it's actually Jonathan as Katrina. They've set up this entire thing, which is, I mean, in execution, it is a smart plan. You have to give it credit for that. It's a horrific plan, but it is smart. They've summoned 3 demons, and then they've transformed Jonathan into Katrina. The demons are Rasundi demons, and we learn later that part of their effect is they make the time. Let's do the time warp again.
Oh my God.
Ding, 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 ding.
Are you okay?
I'm great. Little Anthony Stewart head, fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show overlap for everybody. They love me.
What about Anthony Stewart head in Rocky Horror Picture Show?
He was in Rocky Horror Picture Show live in, I think, London. You've seen the photos.
Frankenfurter?
Yes, Frankenfurter. Are you looking at the photos right now? Are you seeing the beboed Anthony Stewart head?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. See, this is why you have to listen to the podcasts. Even episodes that are very, very hard to get through, we wind up talking about fucking Anthony Stewart head as Frankenfurter in a boa.
Yes.
You never know what can happen around here.
Okay, so we see all these things happen kind of like out of order, but basically the long and short of it is the nerds do a thing that make Buffy think she hits Katrina and kills her.
Yes. And we
also Spike punches a hole in a demon.
Oh my god, his whole fist goes through the back of the demon. It's very gross. Yeah. So this scene ends with like Katrina down at the bottom of like the hill in the woods, and Buffy's like, I killed her. She's dead. I killed her. What did I do? And Spike, fucking massive points for Spike from like here basically till the end of this fucking episode, because he's like, we need to get you home right now. Like, we need to get you into your bed and I will deal with this, and he knows what he knows is correct. There's absolutely no universe in which Buffy should involve the police. I mean, really hard stop at this point. We all know that. But even in a world in which we're not like, fuck the police, she's a fucking slayer. What is she going to say to them? And that's basically what he says to her later. Like, what are you going to tell him? There were fucking demons in the woods and that you're the fucking chosen one? Like, what are you thinking? Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself because, as you can tell, I have a lot of feelings. He gets her home. He's telling her it was an accident and that he'll sort it out. Thank goodness. Meanwhile, Katrina melts back down into Jonathan. And so we're left with zero questions about how this was done and by whom. Here's a way that you can have sex with women. Just turn yourselves into women and have sex with each other. Nobody gets hurt. Just a thought.
I gotta go.
So right. So and like I think that the apart from like the reveal of how they've done this, the only notable thing in the quick van scene we get here is that Jonathan very angrily and full of a lot of conflicting emotions says to Warren, "The night's young. There have to be some more girls we can kill." Because they are, as much as they are fully complicit, Warren is like, just another fucking day, and Andrew and Jonathan are like,
no,
understandably fucked up. They've literally killed a person.
Yeah.
So we go to Buffy in bed and we get a dream. We haven't gotten a dream in a while, and just in case you forgot, they're always real fucked up.
Yeah, Spike crawls into bed with her. Then she's riding Spike. Then she has, the whole nightmare hallucination of Katrina. Then Spike handcuffs a steak. And then she wakes up. How was that? Was that a good description?
Yeah, I mean, because it was a good description. There's a lot of like morphing of like Spike to Katrina to Spike. They kind of like change back and forth. And I think that like the line from the beginning comes back. Do you trust me? And Buffy is riding Spike, to use Jenny's language, and Spike is handcuffed, which we know is what actually happens in their bedroom. And I think that what is happening here is that, like, no, of course, Buffy does not trust Spike. That's why Spike is the one in handcuffs. Then she's on top of Katrina, and Katrina has handcuffs, and she's saying, do you trust me? And of course, no, Katrina can't trust Buffy because Buffy is evil and bad and wrong inside, which is how she feels about herself, right? So there's like this, I think that the dream is positioned to like give us this glimpse of how Buffy really, really is feeling like she is bad and wrong. And she's connecting that with Spike, and like and that becomes very important in the scene that we're going to get to very shortly in the police alleyway. But I think that's what's happening here. I'm sure many of you will have more to say. Please do. You know, we joke about like being corrected or being whatever, but we love getting all of your information and learning things genuinely. Let's go to Dawn's room, shall we?
Oh, Buffy, no.
Yeah, it's not good. She's opened up her closet of leather jackets and said, which is the one for turning yourself into the police and leaving your sister, who just lost her mother, alone with no guardianship. Oh, it's this long brown one. Great. So she comes into the room. Michelle Trachtenberg showing up real good in this scene. Buffy says, I hurt someone. Dawn says, is she all right? Buffy says no. And the thing that Dawn first does is give Buffy a huge hug, right?
Oh, no.
And like, this is the truth of it. Like, she is a slayer. She is not a person who has killed someone. She is a slayer who, in her line of work, I mean, she hasn't killed anyone anyway, but even if she had killed Katrina in this thing, this is not the reason that you have a chosen family. And the reason you have people around you is to support you when systems cannot. And this is a perfect illustration of this system will definitely not be able to support Buffy, but her chosen family will, her community will. Her community can help her move through this. I mean, to be totally honest, they haven't really been doing a great job this season so far. But that aside, Dawn shows up for Buffy. And Buffy's like, I'm going to turn myself in. And Dawn is like, fuck the police. Literally. I mean, her face is like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, and it doesn't take long to get from what are you talking about to, oh, then just go. You're not really here anyway. And I hate you. And you're stupid and ugly.
Oh, I love when you pretend to be a 16-year-old. It's great. Yeah. So then Buffy goes to the police station where Spike is there, right? Because Spike fucking knows her well enough, I suppose, to know what she's going to do.
Of course.
He says what we already talked about. They're not going to fucking believe you. What the fuck? And then she's like, she goes to say, like, I'll show them Katrina. And it's implied, like, no words are exchanged. And she's like, what did you do? And he says, I took care of her.
Oh, God. He says they'll never find her.
This is funny. This made me laugh.
Immediately. The one half of a beat later. Oh, where'd they find her? Oh, they pulled her out of the river. Didn't Faith Lehane do the exact same shit?
Yeah, I'm really, actually, Jenny, so we're going to go here now because I was going to bring up Faith and I didn't know where.
Buffy's dark lovers are always trying to dump bodies and doing so ineffectually.
So like the Buffy wiki, the like fandom wiki page, they had an incredible breakdown of the parallels between Spike and Buffy and Faith. So I'm just going to read them to you point by point.
Read them to me point by point, please.
I mean, I'm sorry. None of them are really sexy, but we can work together to make them sexy.
Yes.
Okay, so here are the parallels they laid out. When Buffy confronted Faith about killing Alan, Faith responded by saying, anyway, how many people do you think we've saved by now? Thousands? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's literally what Spike says to Buffy. When Buffy goes to turn herself in, Spike says, and how many people are alive because of you? How many people have you saved? Point number one. Parallel number one. Parallel number two. Spike's admission of how he went back and took care of it was identical to what Faith told Buffy about the death of the deputy mayor. That's what they call Alan. I keep saying Alan because give him his name. Both attempts failed and the victims were recovered from bodies of water. Faith said in consequences after Buffy slapped her, there's my girl, the same answer Spike had for Buffy's attack against him in this episode. That's just the second point. There were a lot of points in that second point.
Oh my God.
When Faith accidentally killed someone, Buffy wished, at least until Faith was, whatever, they make a commentary on Faith. Fuck that. When Faith accidentally killed someone, Buffy wished to shield her from punishment by the civilian legal system, in stark contrast to her intention to immediately turn herself in. And finally, and this is the part that we haven't yet discussed, but we're getting to the point in this scene when Buffy is punching Spike. We'll talk about it. But to that end, when Faith and Buffy are battling each other in separate bodies in Who Are You?, Faith in Buffy starts attacking Buffy and Faith, seeing herself and finally coming out of denial. Disgusted in herself, she continues her attack, saying, "You're nothing, disgusting, murderous bitch. You're nothing, you're disgusting." While Buffy is attacking Spike, she says, "You don't have a soul. There's nothing good or clean in you. You are dead inside. You can't feel anything real. I could never be your girl." And there are the parallels. And some of these were apparent to me, but not all of them. And when I read them all in a fucking line, I was like, well, hot damn. That's intense. Jenny's working so hard trying to make it sexy. She's just bouncing around over there trying to think of how to make it sexy.
Ooh, girl, I'd dispose of a body for you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Dump that body in the river for you.
Oh,
dump the body, dump the body.
God.
I think
that the important thing to note, and we've noted it before, the parallels were this strong, but it's like Faith and Spike really are positioned in similar ways. I didn't mean sexily, but also that. But they're positioned in similar ways in that they really want Buffy to come more into touch with her full self and not fight against the darkness inside of her, for lack of like a better way to describe it. I'm not saying that either of them have healthy relationships to themselves, or that the way that they're doing this with and to Buffy is healthy, but that is really a common denominator between them, apart from that they both, as we know canonically, have slept with Buffy.
Hell yeah. I
did it. I made it sexy.
Good job.
Thank you.
So, after pummeling Spike in the face at length.
This is awful.
Yeah, I don't like this.
It's really bad. And it really, I mean, I think we kind of illustrated it by just laying it out with the Faith parallel, but like it's very much Buffy is beating herself up in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. She walks into the police department.
Oh, my God. She walks in. And go back and fucking watch it. She walks in and there is a dude on the bench of the police department checking her out when she walks into the fucking police department to turn herself in for murder. There is a dude checking her out. Now, I don't know whose fucking choice that was, but I think it is goddamn brilliant because it really just fucking drives home the whole thing, right? Even in this moment, someone is objectifying her. The patriarchy! Okay. Now, Jenny. Sorry. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't notice it until my third viewing, and probably no one has ever noticed it because no one would watch this episode more than once.
Okay, so she walks up to the cop on the phone. He can't talk to her yet because he's busy taking down the name of the body's identification, which is Katrina, Silver. Mm-hmm. What timing! How convenient!
Very convenient. Buffy pops in the VHS tape recording she has from iRobot or whatever the name of that episode.
I was made to love you.
I
was made to love you.
Oh, and she's like, Katrina, there's a connection, which is what the boy said. She'll know that there's a connection. She did. Warren. So we go to the magic box. David Lynch gets a shout out, which I was happy about because I finally know who David Lynch is. We get this. We get information on the demons and the way they make the time jump around or whatever. And she's like, I know Warren did it. I know Warren killed her. And she says, you always hurt the one you love, which is importantly what Spike said to her in the alley. And I also think it's important, and I'm sure that most of you listening know this, but like Katrina was killed in this episode, and statistically, there is a higher chance that an intimate partner, specifically and mostly men against women, is the person who is going to kill you, right? And I pulled up one statistic. There's a million of them, but like 1980 to 2008, almost 1 out of every 5 murder victims were killed by an intimate partner. And women are more likely to be killed by an intimate partner than by anyone else. So not going to put too fine a point on it, but just do want to say that this line has weight. This line is here for a reason. This line is very, very true. And it's important to know it and to sit with it and to think about it and to unpack it. And you can do more of that in the conversation that Alba had with Jess.
All right.
Dawn's mad.
Dawn's mad when Buffy is going to prison. Dawn's mad when Buffy isn't going to prison. Dawn is simply mad.
Yo, so the dudes are in the van and they're like, well, we're off the hook because it was ruled a suicide. I'm sorry, what? Come on now. We've all watched enough true crime to know that it is pretty fucking easy to tell that this was not a suicide.
Yeah.
But okay.
She just threw herself down the hill really hard.
And before that, she hit herself in the back of the head with the bottle. Like, come on.
Yes.
Who's fucking in charge over here? Anyway, fuck the
Andrew
guys.
says, we got away with murder. That's kind of cool. No, Andrew.
No.
Jonathan, seemingly not convinced, but working hard to blend, says, yeah, cool.
Yeah, this is fucking...
I simply hate this.
Yeah, and like this is the point in the episode where you're like, wow, that was fucking, woo! Wow, that's heavy. And then there's...
a doozy, if you will.
Another fucking scene. There's still another scene, and it's fucking horrible.
You know, it is horrible. However, one thing that we can say about this scene is that it features, I think... another occurrence of actually what I think is Tara's best use on the show, which is intense, intimate, emotional moments alone with Buffy.
Yeah.
In the body. And now again, different kinds of moments and for different reasons. You know, in the body, Tara is uniquely positioned because she lost her mother when she was a teenager. And now uniquely positioned because Tara is a person with magical capabilities who is outside of the group and the only person Buffy can bring herself to even ask about the spell that was used, and then also that she can somehow find a way to be honest with about what's going on with Spike.
Yeah, and I think the two are connected in the fact that, you know, if you have gone through trauma and somebody else who has gone through trauma has reached out to you to say, like, I know where you are, that person also becomes like a very safe place for you. And so I do think that the two are connected in that, like, yeah, Tara is the one that can do magic and can get to the bottom of this spell. But Tara also is a really safe spot for Buffy in that she has been through trauma and has reached out to say, I have been through something like this, and I know some of what it feels like and some of how it looks. And so, yeah, this, I mean, it is. I just, in like, I don't want to actually throw the scene away. It's just, it's really heavy. This is where Tara tells Buffy that basically the change in her was akin to a sunburn. That it's a molecular change and it would have nothing like that slight molecular change might have to do with why Spike can now hurt her, but that she is still her.
Yeah, Buffy is convinced that Tara has missed something. She must have come back wrong. I can't be myself because I can't accept my behavior.
And this is, you know, again, as somebody like I'm sure I don't remember what I've talked about when I have it on this podcast, but very, very briefly, when I was in my late 20s, I started having pretty bad panic attacks. And I didn't know, as most people who have panic attacks for the first time, I didn't know what a panic attack was. So I literally just thought I was dying, you know, like I didn't know what was happening to me. And the first thing that I did, which I think is also common, is like I went to the doctor, like just the regular doctor. I went to a neurologist, and the more that people said, you're fine, the more upset I became. Because if I was fine, then was this just how I was going to feel forever? Like that was the next place I went. And I'm not trying to compare my panic attacks to like what Buffy has gone through, but I do think that this is like just such a good illustration of what it feels like when you feel horrible and you're told like you're actually physically fine. It's really scary. It's really, really overwhelming. And we see, I mean, before we see Buffy like collapse into Tara, it's important to also talk about the fact that she tells Tara that she's sleeping with Spike.
Yeah. She says, why do I let Spike do these things to me? And Tara says, you mean hit you? And Buffy says, no, I mean finger bang me on the balcony at the Bronze while forcing me to stare down at my friend.
You bitch. I was looking at her like over Zoom. I was just like looking into Jenny's eyes like, yeah, take it home. Go over there for the emotional. And she was like, finger bang. And I was like, God damn it, you tricked me.
Well,
can I tell you something about a cut piece of scene here that was not put into the episode?
Yeah,
also
please.
got this from the wiki. So Buffy was scripted to talk to Tara about how hard it is to lie to everyone about who she's sleeping with. And Tara responded in the script, sweetie, I'm a fag. I've been there.
Say that again?
I'm not going to say it again. But what shit?
What?
I mean, essentially, like, Tara was going to bond with Buffy about lying about who she was sleeping with because she's gay and she had to lie about who she was sleeping with for a long time.
I'm a fag?
Yes, the line was, I'm a fag.
What? What straight-ass straighty McStraighter-sins?
I don't know.
I mean, also just Tara. Like, imagine Tara.
Imagine Tara saying that. I mean, could you even imagine? Like, if we're in the year 2001, like, if Andrew was out to himself, he might say that.
Maybe.
Tara would never. Anyway, that part was cut. Thank God, because we did not need that joke. And we didn't even need that parallel. We don't need to know that Tara understands hiding who she's sleeping with because she's gay. It's not the point. So it's gone. Never speak of it again.
It is interesting to think about, though, because it does draw a even stronger parallel between this moment and the moment in the body.
Oh,
the unique positioning.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
kind of interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So
with
write
maybe
the line.
A different dialogue.
Yeah, write the dialogue a little better, and then we accept.
Okay.
Fair. Okay. Well.
What a difficult episode. Why don't we sidestep into a magical land that we can all enjoy, the land of the Sexual Tension Awards.
Can't wait!
Sexual Tension Award.
What are you, bent? There are no Sexual Tension Awards for
Absolutely
this
not.
episode. You
Get the fuck outta
sicko. Get out of here.
Good night.
Sexual Tension Award.
Well, we made it.
We did
it, and we never have to make this episode again.
Wow, good thing this is the turning point of season 6. It only goes
and it's
up
all
from here.
sunshine and rainbows going forward. How nice.
Ding it a ding, ding it a ding, get a ding, ding it a ding, get a ding, ding it a ding, get a ding. That's my song. Oh, by the way, I have a request for the song, Jenny. I really want it to sound like the Bush song. So that's my request.
Okay. Great prompt.
Thank you.
Great prompt.
Okay, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yes. Never to return.
Thank you so much for being here with us as we had to journey through this episode. It was a really, really, really rough one. Remember that if you want more really quite brilliant conversation from Jess and Alba, to click that link and go on over and listen to that episode. It's up in our Patreon feed, but it's free. It's just there because it's a great way to put up another episode in another RSS feed. So click on that link, go listen to it. It's quite brilliant. And if you don't want to go deeper into it, we get it. That's why we put it over there for you, so you can make that choice for yourself.
Your choice.
Yes.
Yay.
Oh my God.
Well,
Well, she's Jenny Owen Youngs, and when she's
Though
not...
I may have... How dare you? Though I may have sustained a deep cellular tan, changing me on a basic molecular level, I am still Jenny Owen Youngs. And when I'm not making this podcast, I'm usually writing and recording songs. You can learn more about me and hear those songs at jennyowenyoungs.com. You can listen to my new EP, Echo Mountain. You can give me a shout on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs. You can hear my new band LAXs and watch our music video featuring my dog Frank on a skateboard flying through space and time. And you can listen to me talk at length about another petite blonde protagonist on Veronica Mars Investigations. We're about to dive into season 4, which I'm very excited about.
That's the new one, right? Newer one.
Yes.
People had a lot of opinions about it. I've seen none of it. I don't know anything about it. All I know about Veronica Mars is what I've gleaned from the Veronica Mars Investigations Twitter account, which is that there are boys and they get ranked.
Ranked? No, it's just hard to tell them apart. It's hard to rank them because they all just kind of mush together into one brunette mass.
Oh, God. I am Kristen Russo, and I kind of wish I had a molecular tan, to be honest with you. I'm waiting for those sunshine rays to stay out so that I can bask in them and molecularly change myself. But when I'm not here talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Jenny Owen Youngs, I am doing a couple of things. One, I'm working with LGBTQ communities and maybe even more importantly, working with larger communities to talk about queer stuff, specifically workplaces and schools. So you can find out more about that work and what I do at KristenNoeline.com, KristenNoeline. You can use that spelling to find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I don't have another podcast about a petite blonde protagonist, but I do have a Patreon-only podcast with Joanna Robinson, which is just so fun, where we watch movies, usually that I have not seen, that are tied to a theme. We just finished the weirdest trilogy yet. We didn't. It was a.
What was the theme of the trilogy?
Nothing. There was no theme. It fell apart. Listen, but we're back on track for May. The theme is Keanu Reeves. And
is there a John Wick in your future?
It might be. Is that your vote? Because right now we're doing The Matrix. And
Point Break.
Yes, thank you.
The Matrix, Point Break, and John Wick would be a sick Keanu trill.
Yeah, so we're taking opinions for the third movie.
Oh my God, you have to watch John Wick. Okay, the idea of you not watching John Wick is unacceptable to me.
Okay, well, you may have the power of attorney here. I don't know what that means. But...
Nice. Yes.
So anyway, yeah, and what you can come along if you're a patron of ours, or if you're a patron over at The Storm, their Lost Rewatch podcast. You watch the movies along with us. We chat in Slack. It's really fun, and we tape an episode before we watch where I guess about what I think the movies would be about. I am rarely correct. And then we do an episode where we unpack what we've seen. And it's really fun. I really have such a joyful time talking to Joanna. We make each other laugh. It's very chill. And, last episode we talked about pogo balls for a really long time.
Wow.
And Skip-Its. Remember Skip-Its?
I do.
Anyway, who are we?
Well, we're Buffering the Vampire Slayer, and we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at BufferingCast, or you can email us at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
You can, and you can support the work that we do by becoming a patron. Bufferingthevampireslayer.com will lead you to all of the places that you need to be, but you can also go to patreon.com/bufferingcast. Join us at one of the 4 levels available to you. You get all sorts of cool shit, music in advance. We're doing a live watch of As You Were, an episode that is very, very important to Jenny Owen Youngs.
Oh, what an episode.
Preceding our live taping the next night, which is a ticketed event.
Yes.
But yeah, there's all sorts of fun stuff where we got book clubs, we got concerts, we got all things. So join us over there and support us at the same time. And you could also rate and review us if you'd like, if you feel like it. Go ahead and do it. Well, Jenny,
the time has come.
Even now, even after this episode, we still, for you, will dust ourselves off and howl out.
Till next time. Woo! Don't get finger banged on a bronze balcony while being forced to stare down at your friends who are dancing below. If there's nothing wrong with me, why is it all wrong in me? There's a silence that is hanging after the question. When I close my eyes, I'm waiting for a glimmer in the dark. Ooh, I see me walk across the room. Ooh, I could be watching from the moon. I do the things I never do. If there's nothing wrong with me, why it's a simple conversation on the long way down. If I was a thing worth saving, I don't know if I am now. Ooh, I see me all alone with you. Watching from the moon, I do the things I never do.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.